My name is Steve and welcome to my shop. Today's video is a tool build and I am building this die stock to mount on my lathe and tailstock of the lathe, and it'll mount on this 1/2 inch pilot. And since the job that I've got coming up is going to require 2 different outside diameter dies. I have these little dies that are 13/16, and then I've got some 1-inch dies. So what I did is that I made one side for 1 inch and one side for 13/16, and then I can just swap it around in the lathe. I'll show you how it's going to work at the end of the video. I've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. Okay, I'm building this die holder out of a piece of 12L14. It's 1.5 inch diameter because that's what I've got. I had already turned down the end of it for something else, and so I'm going to leave that end for the small diameter die. I'm just going to clean up the outside, leave it as large as I can. I'm going to start off by facing off the end and center drilling it so that I can put my knurl on it while I have it supported. So I can put a chamfer on this edge. I'll catch the other edge when I turn the piece around. Now I'm going to set up to knurl it. I have used this knurler quite a few times, but it was on my smaller lathe. So this is the first time that I've ever used it on this lathe. I've got it set up in back gears. Put lots of oil on it. So let's give it a try. That's as far as I dare go. Let it run out there a little bit. I'll pull it off. come back and see what it looks like. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll get a good grip on it. It's fairly fine knurl, but it's got a good pattern on it. Very good. Alright, now I'm going to set up to drill and ream a 1/2 inch hole through the entire piece, and that will be for the arbor that it slides on. I'm going to drill a pilot hole through first with a 5/16 drill. Bring you back when I'm ready to put the 1/2 inch hole in. I wasn't real thrilled with the way that the pilot hole was going through, so I drilled it halfway and turned the piece around and drilled it halfway the other direction. Now I'm going to run my Now I'm going to drill it with a 31/64 before I ream it, and I'll run this all the way through. I've slowed down the speed a little bit. Should be just about through. There it is. Off camera, I prepared the pilot out of a piece of 1/2 inch drill rod. That fits perfect. Very good. Now I'll set up to bore the recesses to fit the dies in. The recess on this side is 5/8 in diameter and 1/4 inch deep. I'm currently boring it to 240 thousandths, so I'll have a little bit left to clean off the bottom. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking. The bore on this is actually 13/16, so I got a little ways to go yet. bit is not cutting worth a darn. I'm going to try something else. I raised the cutter height a little bit, and that did the trick. It was just a little bit too low and it was rubbing. So I'm out to 790 thousandths, which leaves me 20 to go. So this should be my final cut. Perfect. The die fits right in there. Whoops, now I got to get it out. Pays to keep a magnet around. Now I'm just going to go in and finish my full depth of a 1/4 inch. That should do it. Let's turn it around and bore the other side. While I'm still set up here, I'm going to take and just chamfer both edges. This side gets bored 1 inch in diameter by 3/8 deep. Bring you back when I'm a little closer to finish. I'm at 980 thousandths. I'm going to make my final cut. right on 1 inch. Okay, very nice. The dies are just a little bit undersized by a few thousandths to allow for room to expand. So we're good. Now I'm going to take and knock off the edge, and I'm going to finish. I just check the depth. Yeah. Just going to finish off the depth. I have about 20 thousandths to go on the depth. Okay, that's it. Gonna deburr it. I've already chamfered the outside. Just going to clean it up a little bit, and we'll take it over to the mill and do some drilling. Okay, I marked up where I want to drill my holes for the set screws. Now on the 13/16 dies, the two set screws that hold it in place are 180 degrees apart, and then the split in the die is 90 degrees from that line. On the 1 inch die, there again, the holes that hold it in place are 180 degrees apart, and the split is about a 45, and I took and marked that on it. So I'm going to go set up the mill to drill these holes, and I'll bring you over there when it's all set, ready to go. I've got it all set up in the mill. I've got a V-block in the vise holding the piece. I've got a stop set on it so that I can keep my end distance the same, distance from the end the same as I rotate it. I've got it centered on the part, and I moved it in 1/8 of an inch. Now I'm going to spot drill it and then use a 29 number drill to drill the tap drill size. I'll finish drilling and tapping this side, and I'll meet you back over at the bench. My final operation was to take and cut an angled tip on the set screw that's going to go into the side of the die. And what that does is that it goes into that slot and holds it open. Now this particular die actually has a screw in the side of it that you can tighten or loosen the die. But in order to spread the die out for a tighter fit, you actually have to, see that? It opens up the, whoops, there it is, there. As you thread that in, it actually opens up the space in the die so that you can start out with a tighter fit, and then you can loosen up that screw and the die tightens up. And this particular die has a set screw in it that actually will pull it together. So that wraps it up. I'm going to take it over and mount it in the lathe so you can see how it works. I put the 1/2-inch pilot in my tailstock chuck, and this slides right on it, and I can rotate it by hand. This is for small size dies. These are, I'll be doing it from 0 probably through about an 8. And then if I need the larger die, the 1-inch die, this is the 13/16. If I need the 1-inch die, I'll take that one out. I can reverse it and put it on in that direction for my 1-inch die. So that's going to wrap up this tool build. I'll be using this in my next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.